My name is John McKeon, and we are here live with Lee Paries, Vice President, Western Region for Teradata Aster. Lee, there has been a lot of people coming to you with their challenges around things that they just can't get done in a truly relational world. What are some of the big things that people are coming to Aster for now?
Sure. So some of the things that we see, we work with many different verticals, but across those verticals, there's a lot of common things that we're working with people around, and a lot of it stems around looking at their business from different angles and looking at by being able to incorporate new channels of different data types that they haven't historically been able to get to in their more traditional approaches. And when you look at this across these verticals, what it's doing is really giving them different insights across behavior, across these different channels of interaction with customers is one of them. So multi-channel customer and behavioral analysis. So whereas before there was a few channels that people primarily focused on, you may have your storefront or your direct interaction with customers you were collecting. Web is another one people typically collected. But if you look over the last couple of years, there's many new channels that have come about. And there's many new ways of integrating and working with these customers. So this could be things like now pulling in call center, which may have been separate before. Now you have online surveys of interacting with customers that is another channel of that. There's text and social media that's out there quite a bit that's proliferated lately. And then you may have other channels like in banking, for example, where you have ATMs. People wouldn't normally think about that, but interacting with a machine or that ATM is actually a behavioral pattern of interacting with customers. So what we've been able to do is to extend the traditional approaches of looking at these behaviors and working with customers by bringing these other channels, pulling them all together, and now looking to see what is the behavior across these many channels of what's going on. The second part of what we've done is where there's traditional reporting, we kind of take the handoff from there and go beyond that. So things that go beyond your traditional way of looking at patterns and paths. So patterns and paths are something you could do in a traditional approach depending on how complex it gets. But when you look at these many channels, another dimension that's very common that you want to understand is time. So what we do a lot is time series pattern path analysis, because traditional approaches or SQL don't do well with the construct of time. Yet when you're interacting with these different channels, you want to understand what time did somebody interact on a call center and how that relate to a time that they went to a store, that they maybe set up a blog or went out to my website, and or are they actually interacting at the same time? Are they on the website while they're calling me? I mean, these are interesting things to know. So again, across many industries, it's this multi-channel type of analysis across time that we've consistently helped people with.
Lee, we're here at Partners, and there's probably a lot of your customers here. What, in your mind, has been the most interesting POC with them?
So the most interesting POC, again, it's varied across the different customers. So when you look in, say, telco or financial, it's been looking at things like the multi-channel behavior, but one area that we've helped people out specifically in that area is looking for patterns of churn or fraud is a big one in that industry. That's one that there has been a lot of investment. There's models and processes in place, but it's really by taking our approach, finding things that go more granular or adding more dimensions of these other channels to that process to supplement. Because when you're looking in those areas there, if you can just increase that understanding by even fractions of a point, it means a lot in that business. So that's been one that we've looked at in that industry. When you get out into manufacturing, we're looking into things like warranty is one thing that we've worked more recently. So what's the effect of different parts and components and failures of those to one another, which gets to be an affinity or graph type of process, which is very interesting to look at and really help a business. And also in many different businesses, while we're looking at this multi-channel, one area that's really got a lot of interest has been around the area of fraud and risk. So can you fingerprint or identify patterns across time? Give me all the data across all my channels. Let the data tell me what's happening, and from there readjust what I'm doing on my traditional approaches or add the additional insights into looking for those patterns or trends.
Lee, but we're in a multi-structured world, so I'm going to use the H word, Hadoop. How do I make sense of where to use Hadoop, where to use Aster? Give me some insight into that.
Sure, and that comes up quite a bit. So when you look at it, At its essence, Hadoop is based on a foundation of MapReduce. Aster is based on a foundation of MapReduce. MapReduce is very interesting for dealing with new data types and doing core transformations of new data types, and that is core MapReduce. But it's also a way to parallelize more complex code or algorithms and execute them in an efficient manner, and that's what was built on that foundation. Really, when you talk about Hadoop and Aster, it's not an either or. It's, in my opinion, strip out the essence and say which one lines up best for what you're looking to do. Because on the Hadoop side, it's really a batch file system approach combined with MapReduce. On the Aster side, we've taken a different road, which is it's more about relational and SQL brought together with MapReduce. So I'd say when you're looking to understand where one fits or the other, they're good at different things. They both have core MapReduce, but you ask yourself, for the application or what I'm trying to do, is it something that fits well in more of a batch processing approach? Or are you doing something else that would be in a more SQL and interactive analytics type of approach? And where we've tended to focus is around this discovery and iterative analysis, so really empowering the business user versus a batch process, which is good for other things. But what we have done, more interestingly, is we've also brought the two together. And we've had the best of both worlds by bringing them together in some of the solutions we've just talked about. So again, it's not a matter of using one or the other. It's more of a question of what are you trying to do, and then we could guide you and give you the best recommendation of where should you do that or how should you do that. And we have tight integration so we could leverage the best of both.
Lee, you guys just had a big announcement here at Partners. What problem or what challenge is that addressed at?
So the big announcement was coming up with our new appliance, our MapReduce appliance, which has integration with Hadoop. So again, part of what it's done is really look at this world of quote unquote big data or analytics, if you will, and one part is coming up with a more optimized platform from a hardware-software platform solution perspective that can deal with this large amount of data and deal with it effectively. So really bringing in the density of the platform to help people control their data center power space cooling and bringing that in a platform that can handle this quote-unquote large data more efficiently, as well as processing it more efficiently. But as I just mentioned before, it's also the ability to bring back and couple together this Hadoop with Aster's core approach and leverage these two tools for what they're best able to do in one integrated appliance, with the benefit of having one place to come for it, to have it all built out, the whole stack of what's involved there. And more importantly, where we're finding a lot of value from people is when you need support, we've simplified it. You don't have to go to 3 or 4 different places to get support. You just go through Teradata, and Teradata's mature support processes, and we'll manage the whole stack.
Lee Paries from Teradata Aster, talking about some really cool stuff here at Partners. Lee, thank you very much.
Thank you as well.